Then on tour, I'd pop in a Sepultura record or Slayer's Rain and Blood before hitting the stage. I would listen to that music to get pumped up to play Learn to Fly. So I started questioning the direction I was taking with my music. Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, by my patient and happy co-host, Alexander Volt. Say hello.
Hello.
This is Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. That's a new discography per episode, even baby tiny ones like this. And today we'll be discussing the one and only album by
Probot.
Oh, this is a bit of a, what is this, like a comfort food?
Yes.
A little bit comfort, a little bit more of a, hey, how about we take a break and do something for us?
Yes.
The shortest possible discography with music that we like a lot.
Hell yeah. It's very interesting to talk about.
Hell yeah. So before getting to any of all this, if you want to help and support us, please like the video if you like it, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Leave comments, talk shit, any insights into this record, into all the members and guests on this record would be pretty fun as well. And you can find the full Probot album in the description. We usually have playlists associated with all these episodes, but for one album discographies like this, you got the whole album in there. And if you would like, and we would certainly like you to, please join the Patreon, patreon.com/everyalbumever. You got the bonus episodes there. You got early access to the Loose Ends episodes. You get 20% off all our merch. You get to see our schedule in advance. You get to vote on polls to decide who we cover next. And if you're tier 2, if you're bigger than Jesus, then you can request artists for us to cover. And it's the only way we will cover artists that are requested. It's the only possible way at this point. And even those are backed up by months. But that's where you go if you want to do that. And don't forget to check out my debut EP, Pander Monkey. It's out now on all platforms. There's also a link in the description. Put a lot of time into that. If you hate it, that's cool. If you like it, that's also cool. Don't really care. I want you to hear it anyway. Just want you to hear it. That's all it is. Tell a friend if you also enjoyed that. And spread it around, baby. Spread it around. I think that's about it for plugs.
Yes.
So Probot, no one requested this, but who gives a fuck? We want to do it. It's easy. It's short. It's fucking rad. It's got everybody we love on one album.
Yes. Some of these people we've covered in the podcast.
I would say many of these people we've covered.
We got your King Diamond.
Before we even go into that, what is this?
This is a metal super group of sorts.
Super album. It's
it's also funny, and I love that he compared it to it. So this is by Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl. Check out
everyone knows.
Everyone knows Dave Grohl. Please check out our Nirvana episode. That's very fun.
He called this a death metal supernatural.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, fucking supernatural Santana effect in the metal world.
It's sure, and in a way, I personally enjoy it much more. As you know, I hate Santana. I get it. Santana's cool. All right, I just fucking hate that album. But
it is like 10 inches from the midday sun to date.
It actually is that hot. You're not wrong there. But so this is it's Dave Grohl in every song. It's his band. It's his songs. Yada yada yada. But every single track has a different fucking metal god on it.
Yes.
like so many of these fucking guys I love so much. And I would say only like one or two I'm not really familiar with. Or like I know who they are, but I never really listened to the band.
Yeah.
Everyone else I'm like, oh, it's fucking rad. Yes. Hell yeah. Like, and it's so refreshing because not only do you get a different taste with every song, the songs more so than not feel like the band that member came from.
Yeah, well, there's a few that are a little different, but for the most part, yes.
So who do we got?
So I guess I'll go in the order where we've covered. We got Wino of St. Vitus. Check out that episode. We got Tom G. Warrior of Celtic Frost.
Check out that one.
We got fucking King Diamond.
Merciful Fate episode 2. We covered that.
So those are the ones we've covered, but
we got more, dude. Kim Thile, Soundgarden.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. he's on here, and then maybe even a few upcoming episodes.
Some of them, we're not going to say who, but some of these motherfuckers are going to be featured very soon on this channel. So you got fucking Cronos of Venom, you got fucking Max Cavalera of Sepultura and SoFly. Fucking love Max Cavalera. I'll talk more about that later. Love that guy. Lemmy of Motorhead, Mike Dean of COC, Kurt Bresch of DRI, Lee Dorian of Cathedral and Napalm Death. What is it? Snake of Voivod. Fucking Voivod. We've got a recent request for Voivod.
Oh shit.
And Eric Wagner of Trouble. And
special guest appearance by Jack Black.
Jack fucking Black, who, hey, say what you will, the motherfucker can sing pretty well as a metal vocalist.
Real strong vocals.
Real strong vocals.
When we get there.
Oh, this album delights the fuck out of me. So, if you're at all familiar with metal, this is star-studded. Like, if you're a passing metal fan, this is like one of the greatest introductions to like the things that we consider the best, best of the best.
I agree. Dave Grohl doing an album with these guys is so much more interesting than if he brought on like an Ozzy Osbourne, who I think was supposed to be on here originally.
Believe so, yeah.
Or like an Ozzy or an Axl Rose, or these guys who don't really need it.
Don't care about them either, though, because the big giant people, it doesn't feel right. It's something about like just choosing the biggest and most, prolific. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't hit the same. These are like the perfect level of celebrity. They're not really celebrities, but they're like juggernauts in the metal world. But no one else would know who the fuck they are.
Yeah, I'm gonna say most Foo Fighter fans probably know like Lemmy, and that's it.
Everyone knows Lemmy, yeah. And he's him and King Diamond are like the biggest stars on this whole album.
Yeah, even putting it out on Southern Lord, which is one of my favorite record labels, is like a cool choice, because I'm sure if Dave went to whatever label the Foo Fighters are signed to and like, hey, I got this side project, can we put it out? I'm sure they would have, but he fucking didn't. He went to a cool metal label like Southern Lord. Yeah,
and we have some quotes about that and why he did that. And there's like a lot of great quotes we got here from our history guy, Tom Osman. By the way, you should follow Tom Osman on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Tom Osman Sounds. He does all our history, and he's very, very good at it. Thorough. And you check out his Substack at tomosman.substack.com, where he writes about music and all kinds of other music. He's a very, very entertaining writer. And also a writer of music. So check out his debut album, So Much for All in Day's Work, which you can find on all the platforms, as well as the link in the description. It's awesome stuff. And he compiled a whole bunch of stuff for us. And so we got like a bunch of interviews with Dave Grohl. I believe 3 interviews with Dave Grohl, one in 2005, one in 2002, and one that does not have a date. Unless I think it might be 2000. No, it's 2003. Yeah, 2003. We got... nope, there's more. There's 4 interviews. There's a lot of interviews with them. Let's just leave it at that.
Sure.
You got interviews with Cronos, with King Diamond, Eric Wagner, Max Cavalera, Kurt Bresch, and I believe that's it. And some of these are so fun. I don't know if you want to just jump into the fucking album now. I mean,
we
can talk about the history of it, but it's all kind of ingrained with what this whole thing is.
Yeah, might as well just intro it, because like it's a fucking killer song too. So like we said before, there's only one album, and it came out 2004. This is Probot. So before it starts up, this is Cronos' song. It's really a perfect opener too. Like, I can't imagine any other song doing it.
Killer.
I forgot it had this like...
Oh, this length. Yeah, so did I.
I thought it just...
Every metal album has this fucking overly long, spooky build-up.
That was the caveat for doing Southern Lord. You need the long
rev. Oh, what a fucking riff, dude. Oh, fuck. One more. Crank it. I want to hear this.
All right.
God, this is fucking rad.
I like how that like is incorporated in the actual song too.
I didn't know Cronos sounded this good at this
late in
time.
life. Yeah, it's crazy. Crimson skies, new danger, innocent lives, also, I left out bands who've covered fucking Nirvana.
Yeah, I said at the top.
Oh, sorry. My brain is mush.
Yeah, no, we've been through a lot today.
Everything that sounds so good, too.
Sounds fucking awesome. Oh, I love that tone, dude.
Yeah.
Especially that fucking bass. Oh, great tone. So goddamn chunky.
Guitar, bass, drums, vocals, everything that sounds fucking great.
And it's more beautiful because, yeah, this is like, he's already knee deep in Foo Fighters with a lot of pull. And to put it to this good use, at least production wise, god damn, it's so flattering to everybody who's on it. A lot of these bands didn't get a lot of this treatment. Wino didn't get a lot of this treatment.
No, like, it's probably the best sounding Wino track ever. Well,
SHRINEBUILDER is pretty badass.
Yeah.
But, check out that fucking, check out that as well. Oh, wait, did we mention SHRINEBUILDER when we mentioned Wino?
No, I think we forgot.
Yeah,
we've done like
it's St. Vitus, but we also did SHRINEBUILDER.
We're like knee deep in Wino stuff.
Dude, we love Wino here. So this is like a quote from Grohl from I guess sort of the origins of all this. He says, "Started listening to underground American hardcore in 1982. Shout out. I had a relative that turned me on to punk rock, and by '84 I was completely immersed in it. That scene was totally independent and underground. I had my own fanzine and I started a band. It really instilled that DIY ethic. I started discovering bands like Venom, Motorhead, Slayer, and Merciful Fate. Bands that were similar to hardcore in that the aggression, rebellion, and energy of the music was still there, but they were even nastier." And end quote. Because those who know Dave Grohl lore, he was the drummer for Scream, and Scream was an early hardcore punk band. They put out Discord Records' first full length album. It was before he joined, but that's same band.
Yeah,
and so he has deep roots in hardcore punk, and that's why this was like, because I mean, before I even knew about this album, I thought he was just the Nirvana and punk guy. Like, I knew about Scream. I didn't know about his roots with fucking metal like this.
Yeah, I guess I did, but yeah, I think also growing up in DC, like that hardcore scene was so unique.
One of the best.
But yeah, the guy just loves music, and I don't think well, obviously when he's younger, he's got the aggression, but I think that's another reason the album sounds great. He's just a connoisseur of things that sound cool and good.
Yeah, maybe not the biggest fan of the Foo Fighters, but it's not that I don't appreciate what he does. I didn't mind that last album either, but
I think they may have put one out since.
All right, so
are you talking about the one that with the metal rate? Yeah, they put out
Concrete Gold.
Yeah,
I might not like the last album. I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
But he goes on to say, quote, "I learned to play drums from listening to my favorite albums. I would put on Rush's 2112 and try to play with Neil Peart. But then as I listened to hardcore and metal, I realized I was a drummer sport. I was really into Earl Hudson from Bad Brains, John Wright, No Means No, another request that we've gotten quite a bit. Amazing drummer. Jeff Nelson, Minor Threat, check out that episode. Dave Lombardo, Slayer, check out that episode. We've done a bit of punk and metal. I would learn all of their licks verbatim, and I didn't even have a drum set. This quote warms my heart to no end.
Yeah.
He says, "This may sound dumb, but I had a chair that was next to my bed, and I would kneel down on the floor and put a pillow between my legs to use as my snare. I would use the chair to my left as the hi-hat and use the bed as toms and cymbals. And I would play to these records until there was condensation dripping from the windows." That's what you do when you fucking have nothing.
Yeah.
But you just like it.
Yes.
God, I fucking get it. God damn it. Any thoughts?
Oh no, this the guy is as advertised all the hype about being one of the best drummers ever, and this is why these are humble beginnings.
Even though he's who he is, he's still fairly modest with that stuff. Like when people talk about his drumming, he really down. He's like, I just copy every. Like, yeah, we all copy.
Yeah.
All right, we all learn from. That's not the point. He has a fucking style and intensity that is very distinct to him. Like, you could tell it's him.
I don't have the quotes, so I'm not saying it verbatim, but I think he even has like said like the move to guitar was kind of like. He just kind of, not in like a dickish way, but this like found the guitar more challenging to tackle. So like,
I mean, you have to stay challenged. Otherwise, it can become a routine or monotonous or whatever. Mm-hmm. I use this example way too much, but fucking Greg Sonnier of Deerhoof, he's a guy who would literally just alter his drum set every time you get bored. At least that's what I remember from hearing a long time ago, which is pretty fascinating. Like you get so good at doing a certain thing that you have to make it harder to make it fun again, which is, it's not uncommon. But I think people don't really think about it so much with music, at least not in my experience. Okay, so back to the whole foundation of Probot. He says the whole thing started in January of 2000 after the Foo Fighters made There Was Nothing Left to Lose. That was our first record where we really started focusing on low-level dynamics, acoustic sounds, and songs that move from verse to chorus without surrendering to that quiet, loud dynamic. In 99, rock music was becoming a victim of dynamics. I had a lot of ideas, and I wanted to see where the melody took the songs rather than where the distortion pedal could take them. We started writing as a group in my studio in Virginia, and the song stemmed from jams, but it was pretty mellow. Then on tour, sorry, I'm talking so much. They're all quotes. Then on tour, I'd pop in a Sepultura record or Slayer's Rain and Blood before hitting the stage. I would listen to that music to get pumped up to play Learn to Fly. So I started questioning the direction I was taking with my music. That'll do it, right?
It's
listening to fucking Desperate Cry, then playing Learn to Fly.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Learn to Fly, but in comparison, I can see why you're like, well, fuck, maybe I should be playing that music that gets me pumped.
Or at least have it implemented in some way, have that outlet, because for those who like metal and like heavy music, there is an undeniable feeling you get when you just hit this gigantic, heavy, loud note. It feels something inside you. Maybe it's just a guy thing. I have no idea. But it's different. It's absolutely different. And maybe you don't want to be a fucking full-on death metal musician. Mm-hmm. I get it, but it is a very important, impactful feeling that you get from a nice big chunk.
Because there are like heavy Foo Fighter things, but not. I mean, around that time was like way more like poppy. I think that was a big album for them.
Yeah. That was. He said the album. Yeah, nothing left. There was nothing left to lose.
I kind of stayed away from that album for a while because I wrongly viewed it as like the more poppy album, and like this nonstop hits on that. And then as I got a little bit older, I was like, oh no, there's still good things on there if you're a fan of the Foos. Yeah,
sounded super cholo right there. But like, that's another thing. Like, you can have, it's just the dimensions of people, baby. You can have all that poppy shit and also be obsessed with death metal. And I think that's a good sign, a great sign of a good person. Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't give a fuck about their ethics. I don't care about that. But more so of like where they're willing to go and where their spectrum of joy is. Mm-hmm. Like, where can you get that joy? Can you get it from this crazy fucking hideous scary thing, and also from this really nice pretty poppy thing?
Yeah,
like, that's a good sign of a person. That's why I like Dave Grohl as a guy. I don't love everything he does, but I do like him as a guy.
Yeah, and while we're talking about Dave Grohl, I know he said he learned to be welcoming and kind to people from Dimebag Darrell. So that's
that's right.
Very sweet of him.
Pantera, check out that episode. Fucking yeah, that's not the only place I've heard that. Like, that Dimebag was one of the nicest, sweetest guys in all of music, which is sad.
It's so really sad. Like, man, that Pantera reunion's gonna be weird, if you want to call it.
There's gonna be a Pantera reunion?
Yeah, sorry, I thought you knew.
no reason to do that. The two people that people like are dead.
I would be fine with it if it was called something else. So it's Phil and Rex, and then Zach Wilde and Charlie Bennett from Anthrax.
That's a killer lineup.
That's what I mean.
God
I think people want to see that. I think
I'd love to see
and
that.
I have nothing against it, but calling it just Pantera is like, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I mean, how else would you market it though? Look at it from a business standpoint.
Yeah. I don't know.
I would do a McCluskey thing.
I would call
there'd be like an asterisk or something like Pantera, but not really Pantera, but without the dimes.
Can I call it Jeff Lynne's Pantera?
Jeff Lynne's Pantera is a perfect example. That will be great, though. That will be great.
You get what I mean, though.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
There
should be some kind of
something in front or after the Pantera.
Yeah,
What
something.
about after No.
I don't know, but some sort of
indicator. Yeah.
What's the word? There's a word for it, but I forgot. Anyway,
back to this.
Yes. So Dave Grohl on the forming of Probot, he says, it started out as a project in my basement. First, I was just recording a bunch of instrumentals for fun, and I had no intention of releasing it. And I had no intention of having anyone else sing on it. After recording the first 7 songs, I thought it would be kind of funny to almost make fun of that Santana record that had come out recently with a different vocalist in every song. And then I played on the Tony Iommi self-titled solo record that has kind of the same concept. And I thought, wow, maybe this will work. And holy shit, man. I think he just like sent out like, just, all right.
He just kind of stumbled into this and
Yeah. So he said, on what you said earlier about like getting like the Ozzies and the Axl Roses, he says instead of having the mainstream or more popular singers, I decided to restrict it to this genre of underground metal from 1982 to 1989, the sweet spots, baby. And he said, so we started calling people, and I wasn't sure if everyone would be cooperative. Just because it was kind of out of left field that a guy from Nirvana would be calling people like Cronos from Venom or Tom G. Warrior or Lee Dorian, and everybody was really, really excited to do it. They all said, yeah.
Also, going into his humble thing, he's viewing himself as like the mainstream, the enemy, thinking they would say no, where if he was a dick, I could see someone being like, I'm from fucking Nirvana. How dare you say no?
Yeah, it's not.
It's just a little thing in his character that is
it's nice.
I admire.
It's nice. It could be maybe he's just lying and he really is that guy. It's like, you fucking I will ruin you.
If I find out
you Tom G. Warrior.
If I found out Dave Grohl lied about anything as minuscule as the weather outside, I would be furious. I'd be furious.
I don't care. I forgive him. I don't fucking. Yeah, so they fucking just called everybody they liked, and it worked. I think.
What else are these guys doing?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
You're not wrong. So he said they would just send him the master tape, give them the money for the studio, and they would send him back. And that's pretty much it.
So crazy because we just talked about how great that Cronos song sounded, and to this be in different studios, and you're giving up a certain level of control, and to have it
at least
consistently sound this good is crazy.
Well, if you got a good mixer, which he does, you can do a lot. Especially, and he's recording it he's paid for the studio. It'll be all right.
Yeah,
it'll be
okay.
But he says, but one by one they started coming back, and they were just fucking awesome. Every one of them was just, I just waited for them to come in the mail. That's got, dude, fucking it's
like Christmas.
The high of an Amazon package on the way, times 1,000.
Yeah,
it's got to be that feeling. Yeah. So we played a little bit of the opening track, which has Cronos, like we said.
Centuries of Sin.
Centuries of Sin, that's right. And Cronos says at the beginning, Dave sent me an email in which the first 100 lines he was talking about how much he loves Venom and how often he's seen us play live, a real fan letter. Back then, he was only playing with the idea of recording a metal album with all his metal heroes and Venom having a part in it. He wrote that he'd have to get something off his chest. I answered instantly, of course, man, send this shit over. Let's fucking do it. He said, I'm not preoccupied. I'm open for everything. And Dave's cool. I can remember the first Nirvana song very well. And it was kind of like Metallica. Here we are now, entertain us. That was fucking great. Very heavy. What a nice guy.
That's the most Cronos answer I've ever heard.
I've never heard an interview with Cronos before.
Well, I'm just saying, like, listening to like Venom and then like he should talk like that.
I mean, they are a fucking cool band.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we've talked so much already, and we are going to go through every song because there's so much to go through with every song. I don't know if we should play a little bit of every song, just because everything is so unique.
How long do you want to be here, Mike? That's the only.
That's a good ass point. How long is it? All right, maybe we don't do that because this is a 1 album episode, and we're already fucking holy shit. But.
I think we could move on to the next.
All right. Let's move on. We've talked a lot about Cronos. There's more.
There's Red next song.
Well, no, but I'm saying because Cronos and Lee Dorian went to London to promote the album with Dave. So like those two are more important, quote unquote.
Yeah, I do remember seeing like sporadic like Probot like videos or performances on like MTV or something. So
so like he didn't meet everybody that was on the record. Some of them he didn't even talk to at all, which is kind of a bummer. I think King Diamond he didn't talk to, but Cronos and Lee Dorian were like with him and stuff, which is pretty rad. Next track, Red War, Max Cavalera. Oh boy,
that song. I think I had just started playing or was very early trying to play drums, and I know we said we weren't going to play every song, but let me tell you, Dave Grohl does not know how to play double pedal. You can't even tell.
He doesn't?
No.
Like still
not on this album.
The fact that that's hilarious. Holy shit.
So this
maybe he's not the best drummer ever.
He is. This drum beat sounds like double pedal, but he's like doing some alternating between the toms and the crash, and it's just like
some Ginger Baker shit.
Jesus, like broke my brain as a young drummer.
That's impressive.
Fucking powerhouse.
In a way, it sounds better than double. I actually like the way it sounds better.
Well, I mean, toms over a bit,
Fucking. So first of all, you know this is a Max song before he even comes in.
It sounds like Sepultura.
It does, yeah.
I do want to get his fucking signature voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to be moving like 100 miles.
One of the best metal voices ever. I fucking love Max. God damn, he has this shredding quality to it where he sounds like he is dying.
I've never listened to Soulfly. Should I listen to Soulfly?
I haven't heard them since I was a kid. I forget. But
I'm gonna guess that's the best thing him or Sepultura has done in a long time.
Well, he hasn't been with Sepultura for a long time.
Well, no, I meant like Sepultura separately.
Oh, right.
Even like them continuing on without him, and then him.
Well, even like he left after Roots, which was an arguably pretty fucking great album, and I haven't heard it in a long time though. But everything before that, like he never really went wrong with Sepultura. But I love Max so much as a metal guy, as a human being, as a fucking father. I love this guy.
Yeah.
Across the board, he is the most consistent, amazing dude. Like
this good guy.
Great dude.
Yeah.
Like amazing dad. Dude, do you know the reason why he left Sepultura?
No, I don't.
It's fucking devastating.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Well, so he has a giant family. He had like his own kids, I think, and he married a woman who already had kids. So he has this giant family, and one of his stepsons died while he was on tour. And I believe his wife was his manager. So he immediately left the tour because, dude,
sure, yeah,
pressing matter.
priorities.
And around that whole time period, there was already like a little bit of conflict because he was married to her and she was his manager. The rest of the band felt that he was getting special treatment, so they wanted to fire her right after her son died.
What the fuck?
He's like, no, that's not going to happen. And they were like, I guess it turned to a giant fight. And he's like, well, all right, I'm out. I'm fucking done.
Jesus Christ.
He left his band with his brother. He left his brother there because he obviously, who wouldn't do that? Who fucking wouldn't do the same thing?
Yeah, it's like pick and choose your spots, guys, and that was not a good
bad timing.
Yeah,
bad timing to try and fire not just your manager who lost her son, but your boy who started the band. It's like, oh my god, it's insane.
Yeah.
So after that. Then you hear all kinds of stories of like you see like the relationship between him and his kids, like they're all into metal now and they all like, and so it's okay. He's a mensch. He's a total mensch. Another thing that I fucking love about this guy, about the realness, the sincerity, simple shit. The fact that he only has 4 strings on his guitar.
I didn't know that about him either.
Dude, he's a rhythm guitarist through and through. He said, I don't play leads. I'm never going to use those strings. So I just don't even bother stringing them up. If you go to any photo of him playing, you zoom in, there are not strings. The top 2 strings are not there.
Nice.
It's fucking awesome.
I was gonna say even in what's that Killer Be Killed.
Killer Be Killed?
Yeah. Also 4 strings there probably.
Every time you see him with a guitar, there are only 4 strings.
All right.
And yeah, he's maybe I got a little bit details of the story mixed up. I'm pretty sure that's the reason. That's what happened. I believe he did make up with his brother recently though. But here's a quote from Max about this song and this record. He says, I love the Dave Grohl idea of Probot, and I'd love to steal that idea and do something with my favorite singers, people like Mill from Creator, Tom Warrior from Triptychon, who's also on this album.
Also, I want one day.
Creator? Triptychon. Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And then new guys like Full of Hell, 1349, and now Nathrok and Belphegor. A bit of new and old together would be fantastic. Really excited about doing something like that. He used the whole quote to just say like, no, I would like to do something like this. Like this. It's fucking...
You said anal. Sorry.
Oh, oops. And now, did I say anal?
No, I've been fucking with you. But yeah. Fucking
yeah. So Grohl said about this. I'm going to try and run through these as fast as I can. I'm not going to talk about every member the way I gush about Max. I swear to God. Grohl says, I saw Max and Sepultura on the Chaos AD tour. One of my favorite things about the Probot record is the accent of the singers. Big from Montreal, Snake from Voivod has a strong accent. So does Tom G. Warrior. Like Max, the fact that these guys have unusual deliveries only makes them more sinister. They sound like foreign military sergeants barking out orders. Sepultura were always an amazing blend of metal, punk, and tribal influences. When Roots came out, it changed my entire perception of what was heavy.
I mean, he's fucking right.
Hell yeah. That was like... That was holy shit. Groove metal's a thing now.
Yeah. Sepultura probably one of the better like groove metal bands.
100%. All right, now next track.
Shake Your Blood. That was the
Lemmy.
big single with Lemmy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious. Lemmy's the most recognizable face.
Yep.
This, for all intents and purposes, is a fucking Motorhead song.
Yep, it feels like a Motorhead song. It registers as a Motorhead song. Lemmy's on it. You know it sounds like one.
Like if Motorhead just started working this song into their set list, I don't think anyone would be fucking upset or mad. Like,
yeah,
it's like a fucking great song.
Great song. Apparently, according to Grohl, Lemmy's... I'm sure this is written everywhere, but he never considered Motorhead a metal band. He was quite adamant about that. But you gotta relent a little bit that you are a huge reason metal exists.
Yes.
There's a huge reason metal is.
Yes.
But what a very fun quote about Lemmy from Grohl. He says, "He's it. He's the real deal. The only one. Since I was 16, I've met a lot of people from many rock bands, but when I met Lemmy, I understood that it's him who's the one and only rock star that I'll ever meet in my life."
Oh yeah. I think he said that in the documentary, and he's like, yeah, I've like met like Little Richard, who is fucking crazy, but it's like him and Lemmy.
He says he might be the only rocker in the entire world. He came into the studio at noon, made himself the biggest whiskey coke mix I've ever seen, drank 3 of those, and sang the song 2 times. Played the bass 2 times, and then we drank. That's rock and roll, man. That's the way it's got to be. He says he drank more than I did, but I did it. Hey, man, if you can try to keep up, that's the best you can do.
Crazy. And then it's really hard to follow up Lemmy, but
you got
fucking Mike Dean does
Mike Dean, dude.
Also, it's just like this perfect, short, brutal palate cleanser.
A minute 24, Access Babylon. So this is what Grohl notes it in his quote here, but COC was a hardcore punk band. The very first time was hardcore.
In the beginning, yeah.
Fucking one of a classic, dude. It's fucking, was it Eye for an Eye, I believe it's called? I fucking played that shit repeatedly as a teenager.
Nice.
Awesome album. And then they quickly went more metal. They went like thrash, like Animosity was like, you know, one of the early big thrash records or crossover records or whatever. And then they went, and then COC became
kind of stoners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Grohl says at first COC were a hardcore band, but they ended up helping to invent the crossover scene by adding metal riffs. Yeah, Animosity is still one of the best ever. And as a live band, they were maybe second only to Bad Brains. High praise, by the way.
Yeah.
Holy. He says, I once saw the 2 of them together. Reed of Mullen was an early drumming hero, and Reed Mullen, was an early drumming hero, and Mike was famous for getting so into the music he played with drool running down his chin, soaking into his beard, and smelling dreadlocks. Standing there in a pool of his spit, his intensity was unbelievable. Now, that's why we like metal. Yeah. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, you're not going to get that at a Post Malone show.
No, I don't think they want that, but we want it. We want the drool, dude. Next.
Also, I'm not a huge DRI guy yet.
Oh, I'm a big DRI guy.
So I think this is a fine song. How does it work for you?
I like it. It is not really DRI sounding. Maybe some later stuff where they slow down a bit because it's mid-paced, it's driving, it's solid. DRI is fucking fast. Yeah. They were the fast band from America. Like they were the US equivalent of like the fastest hardcore band. And then they went to they crossed over into thrash, and they were still fast. They weren't like blistering speed, but they were still very fast. They were never bad. They're very fucking cool. And I just love Kurt's voice. I've always loved his voice. It never aged.
Yeah.
To this day.
Consistent.
I saw them when I was a teenager, maybe like 17 or something, and he still looked and sounded like he did in the fucking 81.
Yeah.
So this song is great. Again, it's more slower. It's not so much what we know from DRI. And it's also funny that Grohl just said what I just said. He says, when I got the tape back from Kurt, I was very happy to find that his voice hadn't changed at all in 2 decades. Dude, he just doesn't age. It's crazy. He sounds awesome. He's always Starly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next song, this is a bit of a weird, it's a weird song, and then you see who's on it and it gets even weirder.
Very weird. Ice Cold Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's one of the weaker ones.
Are you really? Yeah. I like it a lot. I like it. I do dig it a lot. It has some fucking sinister ass guitar harmonies. It's less evil and brutal, more melodic, and I find it to be a nice change of pace. Plus, the final 2 minutes kick so much ass.
I think the key with this album, even if you're like me and you think some of these songs are weak, is the variety. Is like he called it death metal supernatural, or like I'm only focusing on singers from this era, but the variety from start and finish, every song is different to me.
Feels very different. And on Ice Cold Man, we got Lee Dorian of Napalm Death at Cathedral, and Kim Thile of Soundgarden, which is what a strange
super group, pretty much.
So weird. And I do like Napalm Death a lot. I haven't listened to like a ton of their albums, but there's a handful that I do enjoy quite a bit. I never listened to Cathedral though.
Yeah,
very curious about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check them out.
But cool, and it's also not like you would expect more death metal from this, but it's not.
No, it's pretty straightforward singing.
Lee Dorian comments on this. He says, I'm wondering how Dave does it all. Every night he's going out with us, getting up the next morning after 2 hours of sleep and works till 8 p.m. I couldn't do that. I believe Probot is good for Dave to break out of the rock star routine because he simply is a rock star. Oh, that's sweet. That's how nice of that.
Damn.
But after that,
Emerald Law with Wino.
Wino never disappoints.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. I remember, I think this was like my introduction to Wino. Like, this is the first time I like heard him. I may not have known who he was or what a madman he was at this point, but I didn't love it back in the day. But now that I'm older and my fandom has, I think it's a killer track from him.
I didn't even mention it at the top or at any point, and it might come as a surprise. I had never heard this album until doing it for this episode.
Oh, shit.
Never heard it.
Damn, you talking... Well, I guess it's because of the people involved.
It's the people
talking
involved.
about it with such animosity, or...
opposite of animosity. Reverence
and love. Like,
yeah.
I just assume you've...
Because I didn't know what it was. I've like known about this album for so long. I just knew the name.
Oh,
and I knew Dave Grohl was involved. I didn't really pay attention that it had everybody I love on here.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, I should have heard this a long time ago.
Yeah, this is like visiting an old friend with me. I've heard this album so many times.
This is brand new. I'm like, it was a delight. I'm just fucking bumping it whenever. Like, oh,
hell yeah.
And dude, Emerald Law was almost like, well, obviously it's gonna be great. Wino rules.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, this is exactly what I love it. I love it.
I will say the next track, Big Sky with Tongji Warrior. That does not sound like a Celtic Frost or
it does not.
It's Triptychon.
Yeah.
Triptychon. Does not sound like any of those bands, and it's great that he has like the variety to pull it off. Tom
Warrior is a guy that like everyone who sees the Celtic Frost episode knows I fucking don't like Celtic Frost except for when they start to sound like Triptychon.
Yes.
Like Tom Warrior has had a spectacular evolution. Yeah. Like I appreciate what Celtic Frost did in the early days and the Hellhammer stuff, but I don't enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But you look at the last album and you look at that first album, it's insane. Like he grew into this metal god. Like,
also to like get older and become better is just
so much better too.
It's always great. It's always crazy to me to witness that from anyone really. So
especially with metal though, you don't really see that where like you'll get some progression, but you won't see like this transformation.
Yeah, you might. You know, we talked about Lemmy, who is a dinosaur. He had more like a regression. He was like in Hawkwind.
Oh, that's right.
That fucking Motorhead. And he's like, this works for me. I'm going to do this until I die.
And he did.
Yeah.
And that's why we love him, apparently.
Yes.
Grohl said about Tom in this song, he says, I was always a Celtic Frost fan, but unfortunately, because of the way that we put the record together, I've still not met Tom or even had a phone conversation. Morbid Tales was always my favorite Celtic Frost record. Could have been influenced by punk bands like GBH or Discharge, but of course they were darker, sinister, and a lot more metal. I actually did like Morbid Tales. It's the first thing they put out, and I actually did like that one. But it is basically like a fucking brutal, evil Discharge.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy. Next, Dictatosaurus.
That you did way better.
Snake of Voivod.
Again, I'm not too... I've heard a few Voivod things, but I'm not big on them. But I like this like banger of a track because I feel like we've been in like sludge land for a little bit. Let's fucking pick them up with this.
There's a ton of melody in it, but also Grohl mentioned it earlier, but with Snake's voice, it's like it's one of those ones you either can put up with or you can't. It will be a deal breaker for people who
Well, for those people, I'm gonna play them Johnny Winter's voice. Is that his name from the Blood Brothers?
No, it's Johnny
from the Blood. I'm gonna play them his voice, and then I'm gonna play them Snake's voice.
They're
gonna pick Snake 10 times out of 10. 10
times out of 10. I gotta find out his name. Just Johnny Whitney.
Whitney. I was close with the W and nothing else.
He has an interesting voice. He has the heavy, like, as it Canadian, like French accent or whatever.
Yeah.
And I do like what I've only heard. I think the first 3 albums, which are pretty beloved. I remember I think Killing Technology is one that I liked a lot. Mm-hmm. I do like the band. I haven't heard them in a long time.
I feel bad for like my generation. I feel like Voivod was the band Jason Newsted joined after Metallica, and that's what.
Is that, did he?
Yeah.
He joined Voivod?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And that's what people like knew them for.
Man,
for a certain amount of, it's just, that band Newsted joined.
You mean Newsted?
Whatever. Yeah.
Because the thrash stuff was, I really liked the thrash stuff because it was so much, it was unusual. It was colder and I don't want to say brutal so much because it kind of dilutes the meaning, but it didn't feel like typical thrash. It was way more it was a little bit more fucked up. Mm-hmm. And it had like robot vocals in a lot of places. It was an unusual band. And
I kind of like robot vocals. I'm going to have to.
Everything felt more, maybe because a lot of the theme was around technology and robots. Yeah. Everything felt a lot more like electronic. It wasn't electronic, but it just felt more. I
might listen to that on the way home.
Metallic, and it's thrash, but it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very cool. It's very unusual. Next, we got My Tortured Soul with Eric Wagner of Trouble. Only song on the album I don't like.
Yeah, that's the most like Dave Grohl song.
It's like hard rock, sleazy bar rock.
Yeah, at times it could be like a Queens of the Stone Age one. And yeah, I would say this one is one of the weaker ones for sure.
Yeah, it's I thought the chorus was interesting, but it didn't save it for me. And I imagine Trouble didn't sound that much different. Like, have you heard Trouble before?
No, I've never checked out Trouble.
I'm curious because if it's anything like this, I'm probably not going to be a fan.
Yeah.
But Grohl says about them, he says they were Trouble were an unusual band. Their riffs were so intricate and slow, and they played with such power. It was hard to imagine that they had Christian beliefs, but they did. Finding out that they were God-fearing made them all the more fascinating to me. It took bravery for them to admit it, which is super fucking metal if you think about it. If you're in that scene,
yeah.
Dude, that's like the most dangerous thing you could do. But Eric Wagner has some nice things to say. He's, he says about the experience. He says, I come home one day, there was a message on my answering machine, and it was this dude like, hey man, this is Dave Grohl, man. I'm doing this album called Probot. I want you to be part of it. And I'm like, bullshit. Mm-hmm. So he didn't even call him back for a while. Eventually they sorted it all out. Yeah. But like, yeah. I can see why you wouldn't believe that Dave Grohl's calling you and saying,
yeah.
Okay.
And then the king.
Oh boy. Speaking of voices that you either love or you don't love.
Love it.
I kind of love it on here too. I don't love King Diamond, but I've grown to really like him. Sweet Dreams, and Kim Thile, which is delightful.
Yeah. This one works better for me than the guy from Napalm Death.
Yeah, Lee Dorian. Great song, great intro, fucking amazing main riff. Diamond sounds just like Diamond, which, I mean, like I said, I've honestly grown to like it kind of a lot. And it's a good closer.
It is interesting that it's not like Merciful Fate, but it's still like a King Diamond song.
Because King Diamond, as his solo stuff, was always more theatrical and more character driven, and a lot more of his a lot more of like trying to play different parts and stuff, which is always fun and it can't be a shit. But this struck me as more of, King Diamond, not so much Merciful Fate, but it's just fucking heavy and it's nice. It's nice.
It's good.
And the clean stuff is really well done.
Yes.
It's technically the closer, but we do have one more hidden song, but if it's streaming, it just comes on immediately after.
Yes.
I Am the Warlock.
With Jack Black holding his own with these giants of heavy metal, and
holy shit.
It's just a fucking ripper, and it's
fucking rules.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think if Jack Black wasn't like Jack Black and wanted to be like a serious metal singer, I think he could pull it off. Honestly, not like Jack Black as he is, but
yeah,
I love his voice on it.
His voice sound, and that's the thing. Like I'm not like a big Tenacious D guy. I don't even love Jack Black's comedy so much. I think he does a lot of stuff of like, all right, you've been doing that for the past 20 fucking years. I don't love Jack Black, but god damn it,
I love Jack Black.
Damn it, he's a fun guy. and he sounds incredible on here.
Yeah.
Like, there's no jokiness on here.
No.
It's just solid metal vocals.
Hell yeah.
And it's like, you got to give it up. It's almost stupid how fucking good this song is and how great he sounds on it. One of the best on the whole record.
Yes.
I read something that he said about this that Jack Black said about this song. I want to find it. I don't know if I can though. I'm gonna try to vamp while I find it.
Yes. Overall, just
got it.
Okay.
Keep going.
Overall, some supergroup project like that Iomi record Dave Grohl's on, I not like a big fan of that. You could be disappointed, but if you are a fan of heavy metal, this is a must listen in my opinion.
I think so. The quote from Jack Black was after Grohl approached him about writing the lyrics, he asked his wife and like I guess about it. She said it should be about a fucked up relationship. So he made it about a warlock.
Yeah.
Which I think is like, all right.
Yeah. If you know a warlock, that's probably a fucked up relationship.
That can't be good.
No. No.
I also skipped a quote from King Diamond, which I think is important, only because it can be applied to basically every track on here. King Diamond says, Dave told me to just do it my way, the way I sang, the lyrics, and so on. Just do it like King Diamond, he said. I actually never met him, but we corresponded through a representative of his. That's basically the whole approach, the whole thing. Just
be yourself.
There's a reason I like you. There's a reason we like you. Do that, and the song will work. And ultimately, I think it does for basically the whole album.
Yeah. And then, in the future, I'd be open to a Probot too. I think Dave Grohl is still talented enough that if he has the time or the energy to make a hodgepodge Avengers heavy metal type group, that I'd be open to it.
I'd be interested, especially if it's like more of these kinds of guys, more of these dudes.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about repeats. I guess I'd be open to it, but I think...
Well, there's plenty more to pick from, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, there's all kinds. I tease this...
Talking about Southern Lord.
Yeah, but at the beginning, but Dave Grohl mentioned about choosing Southern Lord over anything else. He says, my 80s hardcore band Scream worked with Southern Lord, and the owner, Greg Anderson, now plays in a band called Goatsnake, whose singer was the singer for Scream, which I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, and I've seen Goatsnake live.
Holy shit. Yeah. Scream was pretty rad. He says, we've known each other for over 15 years. We're some kind of family. It was important for me to keep Probot as personal as possible, not with a huge company. The underground spirit of the record is straight. Metal was an underground movement in the 80s. The loyalty was an example. Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Nailed
it. Funny Greg Anderson story, because I'm never going to talk about Sun on this podcast.
Yeah.
Who's I seeing? Lamb of God. I go up to Will Call. I'm getting my tickets. The guy next to me is like, oh yeah, I'm on the list. It's under Anderson. And she's like, what's your first name? He's like, Greg. And my ears perked up. I was like, no way. That's a generic name. So maybe, oh my God, it is.
It's him. And okay then. That's fun. That's always fun. Yeah, because like a lot of these people that we not look up to, but like think highly of, they're just
normal,
regular ass dudes who got no problem walking down the street and never getting noticed. But when we notice, I'm like, hey buddy.
I know what you've done.
Oh yeah. But I don't fucking know. This is a great album, man. Anybody who likes metal should check it out.
Fuck yeah.
So thank you all for hanging out with us and joining us and all that good stuff. Like the video if you like it. Leave comments if you want to talk some shit, or if you want to leave some anecdotes about any of the people on this record. It's all fun. Subscribe if you want to hang out with us even longer. You can find the full Probot album in the description, where we usually have a playlist associated with the episode. Not this time. It's only got the one. And yeah, if you want to really, really, really be kind and cool and rad, patreon.com/everyalbumever. We got bonus episodes there, early access to the Loose Ends episodes, 20% off all our merch. And you get to see our schedule in advance. You get to vote on polls. You get to
talk about hanging out. Join the Discord.
You join that Discord, baby. If you go on a Patreon, you join the Discord and talk some smack with all of us. We're all music nerds here, and this is the people we want to be around most often, really. Thank you for reminding me of that. And if you're tier 2 on Patreon, of course, you get to request artists for us. It's the only way we'll do it at this point because there's too many, but it's all good. You can follow me on all social media at PanderMonkey. You can follow Alex on Instagram
at Mother Puncher.
Please be sure to check out my debut EP, PanderMonkey by PanderMonkey. It's all solo. It's all me. It's just me by myself. I'm trying to schedule some shows to see how it works with those live. It's going to be a complicated tech process. I'm using a laptop as well as my giant rig. It'll be interesting. I'm going to try to make it loud. I'm going to try to make it fascinating. If it's boring, I will kill myself. Noted that.
On the record.
Don't forget to follow our history guy, Tom Osman, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Tom Osman Sounds, as well as his Substack, tomosman.substack.com, and his debut album, which is also very fucking cool. Check that out. So Much for a Long Day's Work, which you can find a link to in the description, as well as all the platforms, Spotify, Apple, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now we got to wrap it up. Mm-hmm. What are we going to wrap it up with?
I think it's obvious, but maybe it's not because there's so many to pick from. But I think we got to go. I Am the Warlock.
I think you're completely correct. It was obvious. Yeah. Hell yeah. So thank you so much for listening and watching. See ya.